What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. Let me just tell you, it took a while, but we're here, and these guys waited on me because I was having tech issues. I couldn't get on the internet, then my computer wouldn't recognize my freaking microphone, and then the internet got disconnected again, and I had to find the connection. But we're finally here, all three of us, like promised last week. And we're all healthy and good to go. So we're not going to waste too much time. Of course, I'm Mike Spider Slayer. Above me, I have Kat Kamaguno.
Hey, guys, what is up?
And then, of course, Brant Fowler.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yep, so we're all freaking healthy this week so we could do a show.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, right.
So sorry we're late, guys. So we're going to get started right now, and we're kicking it off with the books this week. And then we'll dive into our news. And then, of course, in just a little bit, once more viewers hopefully pop on, we're going to talk about Batman and his relationships, and if he's hooking up with Talia al Ghul, see having another baby, maybe another
What
Robin
is continuity, anyways? I think
What's
that's the big. What's continuity, anyways? I think is.
I don't know what that word means.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right. All right. So here we go. Marauders issue 1. Kat, I'm sorry, I hated this book. I just
You
don't
hated
like
it?
Yeah, it's not for me, man. I'm over this. I'm over everything. I didn't like the artwork. It tried to be too like manga like, and I don't know. I couldn't get into the whole Cassandra Nova situation either. I kind of thought that was a little bit, I don't know, disturbing in many ways. It just didn't hit it for me.
I definitely didn't love it, but I think I'd give it a little bit more of a try, just because I do like this more than the previous issues of Marauders from the last run, and I feel like at least has a direction. It has a direction. They're like, at least they're in space. They're actually on a ship. But I think the biggest problem definitely is the team itself. They don't really interact with each other. There's not much of a character arc. There's definitely a plot, and I'm gonna always stick with it just because it's Kitty Pryde. But I didn't love this issue, but I definitely think it has more promise than, again, previous stuff.
Yeah. I definitely liked, from the story standpoint, the better than the previous version. But I agree with you, Mike. I didn't love the art. That is the one thing that was just kind of a little bit of a detraction for me. But I got in after a while. I got into the Cassandra Nova thing and was kind of feeling the creepy on that.
The art was cool for her, though.
The art.
Like, there's a cool page with her. I was like, oh, that looks cool.
So, like, the expressiveness of the art was good. I just didn't like the overall style of it. I agree. It was more like, anime-ish, which, I don't know. It just didn't work for this particular story for me. But I also like the plot. I like, involving the Shi'ar and Xavier's kid and all that stuff. It's at least got me intrigued, and I'll definitely come back for the next issue for it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't want them to go to space. I didn't want that. That's why I'm surprised Kat liked this, because she doesn't like when her characters go into space.
She likes Kate Pryde, though.
Yeah, no, I love my girl Kitty. I definitely didn't love the cosmic aspect, but I like that it was a ship in space. And also, at least with Kitty, we've seen her in space, and it wasn't like the worst arc for her. So we'll see. Not in love with it by any means.
I know.
But I want to be. I want to be in love with it.
It's bad though, because are we at the point with X-Men where it's like, oh, it's okay, so like I'll continue reading it to see if it gets better. Like, what happened to the days of the X-Men where it was just like every single issue was phenomenal? You know what I'm saying?
Long gone.
Yeah, when was that?
Yeah, that's been a long time. Yeah,
especially with Marauders, there was a time where that was like such a great book, and I just feel like maybe it's an editorial thing. Maybe it's just Hickman had a plan, he left, and now they're like, what do we do with this now?
I just think they kind of continue. Yeah, they lost their way of what the Marauders was supposed to stand for. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
And they did reiterate
the characters.
Yeah, and they reiterate that message in this comic book, but I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. But I mean, we'll talk about it later on when we go to one of our news pieces when it comes to the summer event, when it could potentially happen to the X-Men, though, because of this. So we'll talk about that later. But so Marauders, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to continue it. I don't know if I can get into that artwork and just I think I've given it like one too many chances, and it just
I don't
doesn't
blame
really
you on this one
impress
by
me, you know.
any means. Let me ask you, because I think you're the only one who read X-Men Red as well this
No,
week.
I read it.
So, oh, you read it too? Then why did I take off? Let me see.
I don't know. Did I forget
Maybe
to
it
mark
wasn't.
it?
I think so, because there's definitely only one. Well, okay, we'll talk about X-Men Red then.
We
Go
can talk
for it.
about X-Men Red.
Yeah.
That's fine. Was this in your top 5, Brent?
I don't think so. Was it in my top 5? Yeah, actually, it was.
Okay, then we'll wait
right.
until it goes to the top 5,
Okay.
unless you guys want to talk about it.
Okay.
I was torn between like 3 books for my number 5, so I just kind of gave that away. But yeah, it's my number 5.
All right, so let's talk about the return of Firepower, issue 19. So we got the return. It comes right off of that crazy story arc that was going on, right? With the whole dragon and they're hiding from the dragon. I did like this issue, but being that it took such a long break, I kind of forgot a little bit what's going on. But I kind of caught on, and then I kind of appreciate always the family dynamic of this book, how Owen Johnson's daughter was kind of having this like breakdown, and then she kind of rose up to the occasion. She's like, okay, I'm ready. And then you got the kids who are shooting like regular fireballs and blue fireballs, and then you got this old guy at the end of it, which was kind of cool too. So I thought it was a good issue. It wasn't top 5 material for me, but it was good to see this book back again.
I feel like, yeah, I thought this was a pretty well balanced issue. I definitely like the kids a lot here. I like seeing the dragon was good. Yeah, I just like the return of this book a lot. I will say, just for a note, there was not a 4-star book for me this week. Everything was
tough week, I think. Yeah, it was very it was tough.
Yeah,
I didn't like a lot of books.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed most of my books. I didn't love any of them. So
yes, there was just like there wasn't. Well, there were actually some books I disliked this week, but I definitely didn't love any books this week. Where I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. You want to at least love one or two.
Yeah.
Did you read Firepower, Brent?
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. I was trying to fix something. Yeah, no, I read it, and I agree with you. The family dynamics, that's the best part of this book, I think. Just like the little moments where the daughter's like the brave one, but then when she's faced with the reality of this, she's just like crumbles and she's frozen in that cave and doesn't want to move. And stuff like that is those little touchstones that I really appreciate in the book. And I like the mysterious dude at the end too, just kind of walking through the alleyway when the dragon attacks. Right. So yeah, definitely better than some of the previous issues that were just kind of action, not a whole lot of that. And I'm glad that we're getting back to that part of it, the family aspect. So
gotcha. We did get that comment here. I did see this, and Brant put it up a second ago. I've gotten here early, but I didn't recognize the thumbnail. Let me put this out there for you so we know in the future. Would there be something easier that you guys would recognize in the thumbnail?
What's the best thumbnail? Like what attracts you to a thumbnail?
Right, that would remind you that the show is coming on, because we actually had this posted all day. So, and I know if you guys, of course, if you hit the bell, you should get notification that this show is coming. But is there an easier way to help you distinguish that this is a live show that is going to be coming on? Let us know in the comments below, because we want to make that clear to you so you guys don't miss the show. Okay.
And I guess, like, what type of topics you guys like, because that's something we always try to do our best with. And, some topics like last week did so well for us. We had that Spider-Man spec topic, and we realized maybe some of the trailer stuff and like more of the media stuff doesn't translate as much. So we love hearing your thoughts on like topics you'd like to hear, or at least be the main topic for the show. We'll make you click.
Right. I mean, even if we do our normal thumbnail, would it help if it actually had the Comic Book Weekly logo like that says Comic Book Weekly to help you recognize that that's the show
instead of the CBW thing. Though
right.
We do stick that little CBW thing in there, but it's really small and it's like on a corner because we want to, highlight the topic or whatever. But yeah, right. For sure.
So yeah, let us know about that. All right, so let's move on then to our number 5, and we already know what Brant's is. So go ahead, take it away. Tell us what you thought of X-Men Red.
Yeah, so like I said, I was torn between this and a couple other books, but I think the stuff with Magneto and him connecting with this, what turned out to be a human character, I really like that whole conversation and that realization that they have so much in common. I thought that was really poignant for Magneto. And I also like Storm's journey. So, and like kind of her battle with being the quote unquote queen or regent of Mars or Arakko now. And with the cliffhanger of creating the new Brotherhood that she's going to be a part of or leader of. All that was very interesting to me. And it took it in a direction I didn't expect. I thought the art was really nice, just beautiful, especially when the flashbacks of her battling the I don't know, doppelganger or whatever, the shapeshifter that was, shaped like her. And just, like the lightning powers and all that stuff, just gorgeous artwork. And yeah, like I said, an intriguing storyline that pulled me in a little bit more than I expected, because up till that point, I hadn't really liked the characters from that world that are on Arakko, from Amenth or wherever it was called. So this kind of made me like this the storyline a little bit better. So.
Gotcha. I mean, I love the artwork. I thought the artwork was gorgeous in this book, but I just couldn't get into the story. I feel like there's too much of nothing going on in these books. And for me, it's just like, what if you're a new reader, how are you going to get into this book?
Yeah, that's true.
Just like all of the other X-Men books, like I just feel like there's nothing there to attract new readers. And I have a big problem with that, And I mean, I have a solution to end this Krakoan age. Like, have someone destroy Krakoa and Arakko, and all the X-Men fucking die, and you have like 1 or 2 left, and they wake up somewhere, and it's just like, you can title it The Last X-Men, and you have a few left, and that's it. Now, we've done this before with like, Scarlet Witch or whatever, but
even the Ultimate Universe did that, and everyone was so upset with it.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I don't know, maybe they're not really dead, but maybe you find them or whatever it is. I don't know, but it's just something needs to change with all this. This is just way too much, and I don't know. I don't agree. I'm over Krakoan stuff. I really am. Or at least kill these 5 people so they can't resurrect.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Have you went hardcore? Says, why not nuke Krakoa? That's
he's talking about Genosha. Like, wow, that's brutal.
That's a lot. Yeah,
I mean, there's got to be something, and like I said, we'll talk about it later when we have that event that's coming up. But I don't know. I mean, it's bad enough you had Krakoa, and now you have them on Mars on top of it too. So now you got 2 places.
There's a
where
spaceship. There's a pirate ship in space. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just not my thing. And I just don't think it's great for new readers either. There's not going to be any reason for new people to want to pick this up, because they would be completely lost with this. They have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
So, all right. What's next? We got your Scout. What's your number 5?
Mine is Black Widow, last issue. Which
15, I think it is. Yeah.
I like this Spider-Woman. We haven't talked about Spider-Woman finale, or did we? That came out last week. We did talk about it.
Yeah, it was last week.
So, unlike Spider-Woman, where you're like, oh man, I don't know if they had plans for an ending or not, because they didn't know the ending was coming. This, at least, I think, tried to squeeze some of the elements from the previous arcs a little better, because we get a little bit more from the family, but it also still had the same vibe of, oh, this ended not planned. And that kind of disappointed me, because this is such a big arc. This one, and Eisner, this is, a great run. And I think especially these female-led books, deserve better. And it's just like every week a new female-led book is over. and they don't even have the decency to give. It seems like these writers a heads up that it's going to end at least a couple issues beforehand, so they could have an arc to finish things up and not just one issue.
Yeah. That's something that always bugs me about TV shows too, and we've talked about that, so I won't go into all that. But I agree. I hate it when we get those abrupt endings. It's like, at least give us some closure, and I do think this one did a good job of trying to do that. This is my number 6. This is one of the ones that I was battling with. But yeah, I mean, it's just the abrupt nature of it ending, and then like, oh man, there's so much more story you can tell with this cast of characters. And it just made me sad that I can't read another issue of this.
Well, they spent the whole series getting this team together.
Yeah.
And then it just ends. And this book, the beginning of this book had so much emotion, right? I mean, just a reminder, guys, spoilers, but she winds up getting her arm sliced off. And she's about to die. And Hawkeye is, like,
they fix it very quickly here,
and it's just like, it was like very dramatic.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, starfish person. Oh, we can definitely freaking heal you and you're fine. And this is great. And we're going to stop the guy that just sliced your arm off. And I love my family. I mean, I miss my old family that I had in the beginning, but these guys are just as great. And it's like, and it's over.
Here's my thing about Starfish. Like, take that dude to Kurt Connors. I mean, he doesn't have to be the Lizard anymore. Grow his arm back.
It's just that guy was so convenient. Like, I love the way the beginning.
We'll never see him again.
Started, and then I hated the way it ended, because you could tell it was like, I have no choice but to end this book now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's a shame. We get this cool little comment here from Comic Toby 420. Says, good news, I bought Amazing Spider-Man 361 yesterday for 200 in high grade. So I think that's the first appearance of Carnage. I think that's what it is.
It sounds about right.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Congratulations on that. That's a pretty good score right there. And all right. So I think my turn was to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mine was Rocketeer. I actually it was one of the last few books I had left to read. I read it today, and I really enjoyed it, man. It just brought like this old school vibe of like, that time period of like when Rocketeer takes place. I don't know, when is it, like the 50s or whatever it is?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't remember.
It kind of has, they have like, they talk in that old school language and stuff like that. But it was pretty cool because
30s, actually, I think.
It's the 30s?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So you got the Rocketeer that, he was, because it makes sense. He was kind of like fighting Nazis and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So he basically is like, I'm done. I'm going to hang up the rocket. I'm not going to do this anymore. I got my girlfriend to be with. I want to spend my life with her. And what happens is he gets a job offer from this guy to race in this great race to fly this airplane. And in order to, the prize is this trophy that's made out of this rare metal that this guy wants so he can make his next great invention. Well, at the same time, these Nazis are going to be flying in this race and these other guys are going to be flying in this race. And the girlfriend's like, I approve of you to do this. This is okay because you're going to be flying to Paris and we're going to go to Paris and stuff like that. And it was just a fun book. It was really good. So you get to see him going to fly in this race and out of this plane that this guy made for him. And I think it's going to be pretty cool, man. I enjoyed it. It was something different, kind of lighthearted. It was like old school stuff, Yeah, that's it. That's the cover I have too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just saw that cover. I thought I'd share it.
Yeah, it was, and the artwork inside was really gorgeous too. And a really neat book, man. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was.
Nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
All right. So let's move forward now. Let's talk about Batman issue 122. So this is the continuation of what's it called? The Shadow? Was it
Shadow War?
Shadow War.
Shadow War. All right, so that Alpha book, man, was just next level comic book material. This one just did not hit on the same level whatsoever.
I think it was the art too. The art really brought it down.
Yeah, this was just obviously more of a Batman-centric type of book. And it was them dealing with the aftermath of everything that happened. People are trying to figure out stuff, teaming up with certain other people. Like you got to see, I think it was Damian team up with Ravager, right? You wind up getting to see that.
Was probably, I think, one of the better parts of this issue was that, because it tied into the main story a bit more than the other stuff.
Right. And then you got Deathstroke and Respawn fighting Talia's ninjas and him going, I didn't do this. And so you got to see little things going on with all the Bat people. And then of course you wind up getting to see Batman go to Talia and he's like, yeah, you did this. And you set this up, you plan to get hurt on purpose. So it doesn't look like you're the person that's behind, killing Deathstroke and all that kinds of stuff. And then after some convincing, Batman's like, okay, well, let's hook up and make out now.
Well, yeah, and that's our main topic, because, all right, Catwoman and Batman are supposed to be together, right? Like, do they break up?
I don't know if they are. They went their separate ways, right?
I still thought they were like, they didn't get married, but I thought they were like still together. They never officially broke up, I thought.
Yeah, they were just, they didn't get married and that was it. And we never went back to that, really.
No, yeah, and then Catwoman just like went somewhere else, but never was like, oh, I have like hard feelings for you. It's very weird. So this felt so random and so like out of continuity. It felt, just for the sake of this weird cliffhanger. I didn't quite like it, and I'm not like a hardcore Catwoman and Batman fan. I don't really care who he ends up with, because he's gonna end up with nobody anyways. So but it just was weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess connecting over Damian, but had Bruce been there for all of that, it would have made more sense, right? Because him and Damian haven't been talking. He hasn't been present at all in his life. And
he said some mean stuff to him in the last issue.
Oh man, some really mean stuff. And Talia has been, even like in the shadows, pun intended. But yeah, and Race as well. So they've been there with Damian through all this, and yeah, it would have made more sense for them to reconnect had he been more involved in Damian's life. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't like dislike it as much as you guys seem to have. I don't think I wasn't crazy about the art. I agree with that, and it wasn't nearly as good as Shadow War Alpha. But those other parts, like you guys mentioned, Respawn and Deathstroke, I enjoyed that, and Damian and Ravager. Aside from the Talia Batman stuff, I think it was solid at the very least.
I didn't dislike it too much. Okay. I think it was just more of the comparison of like,
this
was an amazing issue too.
Yeah,
like, this was just
true. Yeah, I get that.
I just found it funny that like Batman was like, why not?
Yeah, right.
It's just like, okay, I'll take advantage of the woman, that is in desperate need right now because of her dad that wound up just getting killed, and then I made fun of it because I was just like, well, you never know what happens if they conceive another child, and then there's another Robin going to be running around, and but if he's not hooking up with Catwoman and this is just a one-night stand with Talia, I want to throw this question out there to you guys. Who would you want Bruce to hook up with besides Catwoman and Talia?
Besides
anyone in the DC universe. It doesn't have to be just in the Batman universe. Anybody.
I always love the idea of Wonder Woman and Batman. I think that's cool. But honestly, I really like that girl that Scott Snyder set up in his run, where Bruce Wayne was just Bruce Wayne, and she was just like this. I think she had maybe like a villain as a dad or something, whatever it was.
I vaguely remember her.
I remember they built her up in a really cool way where she was like a really cool foil for Bruce, and that Bruce fell in love with her, not Batman. I thought that was such an interesting concept. And then obviously she disappeared and will never be mentioned again. But I think she would be cool. Because she's not related to like the big names like Talia or Catwoman.
Catwoman, yeah. Man, I don't have a clue. This is a joke answer, but Gotham Girl, why not? But no, that would be terrible. Man, there's not like a lot of notable people that I could see him with that I recall like right off the top of my head. Like old names I wouldn't really want him to be with, like Vicky Vale and people like that.
Right.
I don't know. I really don't know. I like him with Catwoman. I think they're perfect for each other.
I agree. But that's why I was trying to think of something different. You know, like it's just like when you think about it, how many people has he actually been with? It's like hasn't been that much, you know?
Right.
There's a lot of one-off characters. There's a lot of like, oh, that girl he met at the club, but wasn't actually with her. So yeah, I don't know. Some people said the Phantasm. I think
I thought about that. Yeah. But she's also damaged, right?
She is very damaged. But I think Bruce needs to be with someone who's slightly damaged.
Well, maybe. This is a weird one, but you mentioned Wonder Woman. What about Donna Troy? That's like, I mean, she's a little younger.
Age difference,
right?
Difference. But yeah, I mean that could be. I wouldn't say no to it because she's like, she's older. You know, she's like in her late 20s, and he's probably in his mid 30s.
Right, and she's got a little bit more edge than Diana, and you know he kind of goes for those edgy girls, so edgy women, I should say.
I personally always saw Diana also because it's it's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and I felt like he always had a thing for her. You know what I'm saying? In a way, because of their working relationship, and I don't know. I feel like he would protect her, and I think they would work well together. I think they would. I could see that, you know. I think I see that more actually than when Superman and Wonder Woman were together for that.
100%. Because like we had some prior relationship with the animated show. Someone mentions Zatanna. I feel like that would be really interesting as well. That's also been set up.
Yeah, I completely agree with that one. And I agree. Superman's so synonymous with Lois Lane. You just can't change that. It just doesn't work.
What if Batman wanted to get back at Superman and he goes and sleeps with Lois?
I wouldn't want to see that arc.
Let's make that story happen.
Oh my god! You know how many people be pissed off with that? People riot.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the internet after that. Comic Toby says my dealer has Amazing Spider-Man issue 300 for 600 CGC graded. I hope to buy very soon. And the reason I reference this comment, it just sounds like, you know, it's like, oh, my dealer. I'm in the alleyway. Amazing Spider-Man issue 300.
That's my dealer, man.
My addiction.
He gave me 301 for free, but I got to pay $600 for it.
He's like, you got to come back next week.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's like, or can you imagine, like, and I know Barbara Gordon's a lot younger, but can you imagine him trying to hook up with Barbara Gordon?
They tried too many times.
Yeah, when they did that in that movie, I was just done. That's right. They did it in the animated movie.
They did, and they in Batman Beyond, they definitely referenced it enough. Where it's just like, this is weird. Don't do that, please. Get away. Stranger danger.
What's his face's James Tynion run? I felt like Harley and Bruce were actually getting kind of close there a little bit.
And we saw that with White Knight, which honestly I feel like that's an interesting dynamic. Like I wouldn't say no to that. They're both kind of crazy.
Yeah, like in White Knight, she was just like, I was with Jack. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it just seems like Ivy's not even in the picture in that universe. So it just seems like she was with Jack the whole time, and that was that. And then obviously he's lost, and then here comes Bruce Wayne in the picture. So that could be an interesting dynamic between the two if they did hook up.
Yeah, I can't imagine Catwoman being happy about that, considering their friendship.
I don't think Catwoman's going to be happy with any of these, but
well, that's true. Yeah.
Also, Poison Ivy is probably going to be pretty upset.
Well, yes. I mean, that's very, very true as well.
So, okay. I mean, I don't think anything's going to happen. out of the whole Talia situation.
No,
I think it's just a one night thing and that's it, and they'll move on. Or it might be a kiss and he's like, next issue they'll be like, can't do this. It's not right. Something like that.
It was interesting because Tavia in the comments said like, oh, what do you like? I'm so happy they're a couple. So they kissed. They're not a couple.
Yeah. Unless, like I said, in a year from now, all of a sudden you see a picture and she's pregnant. Hey, remember that last time?
But then we already did that story.
I know. We're going to do it again. And this time it's
I don't need it again.
It's twins this time.
Oh my God. So there's just 3 people like Damian. There's 2 more like Damian. And they're just the same characters too.
Yeah. They're going to be like the G.I. Joe guys. What are their name, Brant?
Tomax and Zaymont.
Yeah, they're going to be like one gets hurt, the other one gets hurt.
Yeah.
We're going to create something like that.
Oh God.
We got
to see it happen.
We got to do something. DC needs something great, man. I'm telling you.
Great is that I don't know if
that would be comical.
Great would be
I would
connected.
love to see that.
Comical, yeah. I don't know about great.
You know how many people would buy that first appearance, though?
I mean, no matter what, yeah. There's gonna be at least 3 people at the comic book store trying to buy that first appearance.
3, maybe 4.
Maybe even 4.
I would buy it.
We're going crazy.
Well, there you go.
I would buy it.
So Mike is there.
Mike and 3 other guys. Or girls.
The guys who get the Robin twins. And it's a boy and a girl. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And they're still exactly the same type of character, too.
Yeah.
They're actually identical twins somehow.
Their actual names are going to be Robin and Robin, one spelled with a Y.
Oof, love it. I like it. I'm invested now, actually.
If this actually comes true, guys, I'm going to shit. All right, let's move on now. Little Monsters issue 2. It looks like Brant read it still, and I thought this issue was a little bit better. I think we got the what we got. We got one of the little vampire kids that came across a human and actually wound up killing it and got the taste of human blood. And says, "Hey guys, you want to feast on some of this because this is some good stuff." And I don't know. I thought this one was okay. I don't know if I'm going to be continuing it. What did you think about this one?
Kind of the same way. I think it was a little bit better than the first issue, but it's still, there's just something missing from it that's not quite pulling me in.
Like a real plot, I guess.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah. It was just like, these kids are wandering around. They finally try the human because apparently they've been living all this time and haven't feasted on a human yet, which is kind of odd. But I don't know. It's just, like you said, not enough is happening to keep me interested. So I don't know.
I guess they're going to go to a camp in the next issue and maybe come across more humans.
Because he said he wasn't alone. There was like a whole camp of them. So now they're just going to turn into little savages, I guess.
Well, maybe Dracula will come. I don't know. That's the one thing though that like it does leave me intrigued. Like I want to know where it actually goes.
Yeah, because you're only getting little bits and pieces of why this happened, and you don't really know why, and you don't know where it's going, and you know that one of them is missing now, and all that. So there's little seeds of interest there, but again, as an overall package, if it's like a heavy week like this one, like I had a lot of books this week, I don't know that I would pick it up. So
right, gotcha. All right, well, there's that one. All right, well, let's move on to number 4. Number 4, Kat.
Oh, mine is. Let me see what is mine. I think it's Batman, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Batman.
That was my number 4 as well, actually.
Okay, cool. Well, that makes it easy. And my number 4 was Devil's Reign. The conclusion to that.
I thought that was so much better than I expected.
It was the conclusion. I mean, I loved how it ended up. Obviously. Luke Cage is mayor. Freaking Mayor Fisk sails off into the sunset. Like I was laughing at that. I was just like, where's he going on this little ass boat? You got this big dude, Big Ben, and Typhoid Mary, and they're going sailing off on a little sailboat.
They just want to break. They just want to see the water. I like the sun stuff. I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was good. I liked Elektra stopping Daredevil from killing. I thought this had more story than issues 1 through 5 combined.
At least 2 through 5, yeah.
You take away all the superheroes out of it, and you look at this, and this was just a Daredevil book. And this always should have been a Daredevil book, not an event book. It wasn't that grand enough to really make it an event book. But it was a good ending, and things were changed, right? I mean, status quos were changed. Kingpin's not mayor anymore. His son is going to be, I guess, the Kingpin, right? And Luke Cage is the mayor. So things were changed here. And I'm looking forward to seeing now where the next volume or story goes.
Yeah. You also have the purple kid. That's the only purple kid left now. So, I mean, that's interesting. I think all his brothers and sisters came back, but they were no longer purple. And so he's the only one.
What happened to Purple Man? Did he die or something? Like, what happened to him?
I don't remember what happened to him.
I forgot.
Yeah, I know he was there, and then he wasn't. I can't remember if they killed him or if he just kind of like skulked off like he normally does. But I agree. I think it was a good conclusion, and the Daredevil aspect of it being like the forefront was the difference in this issue for sure.
Right.
And I like that, like you said, Kat, the kind of the reversal of roles with Elektra and Daredevil, because all that time, that she's been Daredevil, she's been battling with that and trying to live by his code and everything. And then, you flip the script and he's the one that's about to kill him, and, she stops him. So that was really good stuff. And yeah.
And now everyone thinks Matt's dead. So it's going to be Daredevil in that issue 1.
Put that genie back in the bottle again.
Yeah. That's the way to do it right there. Yeah, good. I mean, good issue, great ending to it, and we'll see what happens with these guys now going forward, right?
Yeah.
Right. So let's move on now. We're going to talk about Spider-Punk issue 1. We all read it, and I thought this was a good book for a younger audience, someone that might want to get into comics and they're like, dude, I like Spider-Verse and Spider-Punk's in the Spider-Verse and this is pretty cool. There's guys shooting guns and they're talking in this wannabe punk rock. Even though I didn't like the dialogue in this book, I thought the writers were trying too hard to make them sound cool. But I think this was maybe better for a younger audience. That's the way I looked at this particular book.
Yeah, I like the vibe of the book. I liked what they're trying to do, but I don't think I felt connected to the character. And I think I said this in my review, where it's like with Spider-Gwen, it led with character. It led with, okay, her dad's after her. He doesn't even know she's Spider-Gwen. And then that's how that first issue ends. And with this, I don't feel like I knew him. I just understood like everyone's punk rock and that's about it.
Yeah, same thing. I didn't get the same thing from Spider-Gwen I didn't get the same thing here that I got from Spider-Gwen. And my ultimate conclusion was this is not a book for me. Not that it was a bad book or any by any stretch. I think it was fun. It was fine, but it just wasn't my type of book is all.
Yeah, I mean, they fight Kraven the Hunter or Kraven and the Hunters twice in this book. The only thing that I liked about it was the end of it because Taskmaster shows up on the end. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
The design was cool.
Maybe I have
the design was cool.
Second issue. I was like, because I want to see Taskmaster in it. We got a couple.
I don't think it gave me enough for an issue 2. I think issue 1 is more than enough for me.
I might read it. I don't know. You read it. I flipped through it. I know nothing about Spider-Punk, so I just looked through to pick up some deets.
I don't think anyone knows anything about Spider-Punk because that was kind of the point. He hasn't really been featured that much.
Right.
Yeah.
AJ says Spider-Punk, if you're in the late teens and haven't been jaded by the last 20 years of punks in comics.
Yeah, it's definitely for a new era of punk comics.
Yeah. Spider-Punk looked too dumb to even try. Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know. I'm sure it has an audience, so we'll see.
I thought it had a cool concept. I thought it was so promising.
I never had high expectations for this, to tell you the truth. I mean, I actually looked at it at the shop before I bought it, and I'm like, what can you expect out of something like this? So I was like, well, let's try it, see what it has to offer. It might be okay, but
it's like visually the character looks cool, right?
Yeah,
you got punk version of Spider-Man. That's just cool, but yeah, you got to have more than just a good visual to sell it. And unfortunately for me, it wasn't there for this. But
got it. All right. Radiant Red issue 2. Man, I just feel like these books are so lackluster this week. It's so unfortunate.
I'm so torn on it because it's just like I don't even know if I want to continue this miniseries. I want to collect all the Radiant stuff, but I'm like, where the hell is this going? And I don't like the art. I don't know.
The characters look too big for the panels. Like they're huge. You know what I'm saying? And it's just it's so simplistic artwork. I did like this story though a little bit more than the first issue because I felt like it was a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I mean, the art is very stylistic. I think if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. But yeah, I thought it was slightly better than the first issue too, because like you said, what you just said, Mike, and also just kind of it gave you a little bit more. I mean, we'd seen more about her personality in Radiant Black, but you got a little bit more insight of who she is. Like when it came out, oh, you're just testing us. You're smarter than that. You're better than that, and that kind of thing. So I thought that was kind of clever that she was just, not as naive as she was portraying herself to be, to test the limits. And she knew what was coming and all that. So I appreciated that. But
at the end of the day, she took the job anyway, though.
Yeah. And I think even they were making fun of themselves in the afterward about the warehouse being like, how could you have like such unsafe work conditions, like with the melting pot thing just like hanging loose and all that stuff. So yeah. But it was fine. I didn't hate the art. I think it's fine, but
I thought this issue was better than the last issue because I like the flow of the issue better, and there seemed like a better plot, but it's not as good as we got when we got that original one shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is a different writer, so that's why you're not going to get the same, punch as you did when the character first came out.
Yeah, different art as well.
Right. Exactly.
I was trying to look up. Is it David LaFuente that does the art on this?
Sure.
I'm just out of reach in my books. I can't tell.
It is. Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
Yeah, you're correct.
He actually did a couple of issues of Runaways Cat.
See, and those are the issues I didn't like.
Didn't like, yeah. That's funny. All right. Let's go forward now. I think we're going on to our, number 3 now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So number 3, what was yours, Kat?
Mine was She-Hulk, issue 3. I like the issue. I like She-Hulk's relationship with Jack of Hearts. I like learning about him throughout, and I just like seeing more of the lawyer stuff. It's a little bit of a slow burn, but I'm just enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the character work.
Yep. I'm the same way. I mean, I love the interactions with the two characters, and I really enjoyed, obviously her trying to get the root cause of, what's going on with Jack and trying to get the true details of his origin story and not what he was told.
Right.
And I think that's what I really enjoyed out of it. I agree. It's a slow burn, but I love how they are taking their time with this story and trying to get you invested into Jack of Hearts. And I can appreciate that because there's a lot of people that might not know who the character is. And again, they're kind of rewriting his origin story here,
Yeah.
And what was interesting about this issue, because we keep talking about how continuity just doesn't seem to matter anymore in many of these books. Rainbow does such a beautiful job at the smallest of things matter, trying to matter. And one was the Patsy stuff. That whole conversation about like, oh, I know you don't like them with Tony. I think any other writer would have been like, let's forget they're together. Let's just have Patsy in here. But Rainbow's like, no, I want to tackle these things that exist in the Marvel Universe. And she did the same thing with Runaways, and she continues to do this here as well.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Even with the story, with the whole Avengers story based off of what happened to him. This whole thing is based off of, what is it, New Avengers, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was disassembled. It was during Disassembled, yeah.
And the artwork is gorgeous in here. Like, I love the colors and the facial expressions of the characters. I think they look gorgeous in this book. And I said this, I posted this on my Facebook page. I'm like, this is the closest iteration that we got to the Jennifer Walters from back in the 90s.
Yeah.
She's not over the top, but she just has that confidence about her that I really enjoy. Like, there was this one part in there where she's like, yeah, there's not too many 7-foot green women that have great hair. I just like, I like that. That's what I like about, Jennifer Walters. So, yeah, it was a good book, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how this whole thing continues.
Yeah. And we're probably not going to talk about Fantastic Four, but they talk about continuity being off because her and Jack are in that.
Yeah,
right?
I don't even get how that's going on.
Right? Yeah. Speaking of which, though, Mike, did you like it better than you thought you would?
I did.
Okay. I did. It was a better issue.
But the
guys, I want to drop this event. How are you guys enjoying this?
He's like beating the shit out of them, right? And then he's just like, so where are they? Like, you didn't find out where they're at.
Yeah, that's true. It's just the Reed and Ben stuff, Kat, was just really good in this issue. That was like the main part that was good.
I was hoping I'm so burned out on it. I'm so burned out on this event.
I thought he would kill him, Brant.
Yeah, I did too.
And I kind of wanted that because he said he was going to die, right?
Right.
And I was like, oh shit, is Ben gonna kill Reed? I'm like, is that how he dies? That would have been for a phenomenal cliffhanger right there, but they just didn't go there with it, and I was like, man, that was just like, so
yeah. But going back to She-Hulk, which is also my number 3, so we'll get that out of the way. I'm really enjoying it. I love this version of She-Hulk. I'm liking this version of Jack because I didn't know a whole lot about him either before. Because before Disassembled, I didn't read a lot of Avengers, so I'm kind of coming into this a little bit newer too. And I'm really curious about like how he's there and what this backstory is and where he's been this whole time, and I'm totally invested in that. But I agree with you, Kat. I love those little details and continuity. Oh my goodness. So, but yeah, at the same time, not a whole lot of movement going on in this issue. So just a little bit.
And what's so interesting is that Mike obviously has a big fan of She-Hulk. So it's kind of really cool to show you how me and Brant loved Runaways and why. Because this is the same exact thing she did with that franchise, except she's doing it with She-Hulk now. And now you kind of see it through our eyes, like why we loved it so much.
Right. Even the pacing in Runaways might even been a little bit slower. Sure. But it was a very deliberate pacing, gives those moments though time to breathe. So you can kind of, take it all in. And that's the same exact kind of thing she's doing here.
And I can see that. I mean, I've always been a fan of Jennifer Walters, so that's why obviously I like the book. Just like how you guys always loved Runaways, because you are a fan of those characters. So it totally makes sense, And
I'm curious for people who never read She-Hulk, are they as invested in this run? Like, is this new reader friendly? Because I think that maybe is the only negative, which I guess I don't care about too much because of this. Like, it's a great run for She-Hulk fans, but I don't know if this is the most new reader friendly book for She-Hulk. But I don't think that matters.
I mean, it's like it's better than the X-Men stuff, right? So we kind of got in that first issue, you got the reset at the very least. So this is. If you're coming in cold to She-Hulk, at least this is a new status quo. You get that. So, I mean, it's not completely like, oh, here's the history and that kind of thing.
To digest and take in. This is something that if you did read the character and you're like, oh, I like her, maybe I want to try some stuff that happened in the past.
Yeah.
hopefully you don't read what happened right before or what happened during Civil War II, but you would read the stuff before that, you know?
Me She-Hulk.
Oh my
Be
You
mad.
definitely don't read the Avengers.
Don't read Avengers.
So, all right, let's go forward now. We talked about Devil's Reign. Oh, let's talk about, curious on what you guys thought of Alice Ever After. What did you think about that book?
I had such higher expectations than
I
what we
did
got.
too.
I thought it was going to be a modern story, so it really pulled me out when it was like whatever it was, I guess the 1800s.
Back in that time period, yeah.
I liked
That's about
the
when it
drug
was,
stuff.
yeah.
I thought that was cool, but I was like, oh, I've seen this before. I've seen different versions of Alice, and this was just not what I was expecting.
I didn't like it.
I wasn't a fan either. I like the drug part where she takes the pill and then she goes somewhere else. And then I thought from there on out it was just going to get really dark. And then she just got out of Wonderland and it just seemed so jumpy. Like, where did she go at the end?
Yeah. It looked like she was committing herself to a hospital, but it was like the Queen of Hearts that was taking her. I don't know what was going on. It was so. I want to choose my words carefully because the next book that we put out is a Wonderland book, so I don't want to be like trashing over a Wonderland. So I didn't love the idea of Wonderland possibly not being real, that it's just drug induced, hallucinations and that kind of thing. And I get it. I understand it, and it's fine. It's not for me. But I also agree that it was kind of jumpy and it was kind of all over the place. Like, she was locked in that room and then all of a sudden she's just gone, and that kind of thing. But yeah. And it was like reading a book too. It was very, very heavy to get through it. It took me a couple sittings actually.
Yeah, it was a tough one. I mean, I liked kind of the art change though when she went to Wonderland.
Yeah, that was neat.
And that was the better art. I liked the Wonderland.
Yeah, that was the better art, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool,
It also made me wonder if the dude, the proud dude, whatever his name was also taking the drugs and was actually there, and like somehow they're linking up in their minds.
Yeah, that's what I got out of it. I'm like, is he like taking the drug too, and they happen to be in the same place? Like, I had to look back and like make sure that was the same person,
Go ahead.
She is older in this book. She's not like a little kid like it would be in like the
like the Disney version or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say one interesting thing that was said, like I think it was when she was locked in the room, she had just taken the drugs, and the whole family's talking about her. And one of the daughters said, "We all took the same medicine. She just needed more." And then I got to thinking, like, was their dad drugging them? What the heck is going on? Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'll be buying the second issue. I don't know. We'll see. I think part of my issue is in my head when I read this Alice in Wonderland story or whatever this one was. I'm used to the Zenescope stories when they did Wonderland, and those books were really good. Like, they were twisted, and the art was gorgeous in them. And same thing, they had J. Scott Campbell covers on them also. And I love those stories. So I was like, oh, what's going to be different about this? And I'm just like, wow, this is, like we said,
and that was so weird about the art as well, is that when you saw this book, it was all the J. Scott Campbell art, and you're like, oh, this is just gonna look interesting. And then I understand cover art is sometimes different, but it wasn't even the style. It was such a different vibe for the book. So I was like, I wasn't really expecting that.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt I'll keep reading it either. And it had merits. It has some interesting points about it, like this whole drug use thing, and like if Wonderland's real. That's the main things I'm like, I want to know, honestly, but I don't know if I want to know enough. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I don't think I'm getting the next issue.
Yeah.
For this one.
All right. If it has another J. Scott Campbell cover, I'll buy it.
Just buy it, but may not read it.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot. I forgot to read Moon Knight this week.
Oh, really?
Because I got the variant cover, right? And it was sitting right there on my little easel when I took a picture and put it on Facebook to show off the variant. And then I'm like, wait a second, I forgot to read Moon Knight. So this is the one book I forgot to read. So I'm going to have to read it next week.
It was a decent issue. It was better than the last couple, I think. So.
Okay, cool. That's good to know.
There was a revelation in this issue. That's all I'll say.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Next on the list, we got our number 2s. So my number 2 this time was actually Strange. I think issue 2.
Oh, I have a complete opposite feeling on that one.
I actually like this issue. I liked it better than the first.
I like the first issue more. I thought this was too actiony, and I just don't like her. I didn't like her motives. I hate that this whole entire book is like, oh, I just want to get my husband back. I'm like, why can't you just be your own character? I just want her to like.
She wants her husband back. What's wrong with
I don't care about her.
She hasn't wanted him for the past how many years?
I do get that because he's gone. But also, no, like completely different argument. Look at Jane Foster, right? Like obviously she had a connection with Thor, and like she talked about Odin's son, but it wasn't her whole arc was about him. Like her whole arc is about him. And it's like, I want to see what makes you special as Strange, and I don't see that at all here.
Well, you can see here that she lost her shit at the end.
Yeah.
And she's not going to take any shit from everybody. So she's going to.
She misses her husband.
He's going to push the envelope, though. I think she's going to go too far in the powers that she has. And that's the whole thing of this book.
Oh, we've seen that with magic.
That's magic. This is Doctor Strange. Who cares? I want
to see something different.
I like this character.
I like this character too. I like that she's like not like Doctor Strange at all, right?
Yeah, she's opposite from him.
She's just like every other female character.
I can't do this. She's like the bad girl, and I like that. I think and I like the way she looks.
It's a bad girl with a lot of power and a lot of influence from her realm. I know it's Scarlet Witch. Yes, I get it.
No, it's Scarlet Witch. It's Willow. It's every other character who's had. It's a woman who goes crazy because she has too much power. She can't. Men can handle it. Don't worry, but women, they can't handle power.
Okay, I get the argument there, and if that is what they're doing, I'm hoping that she has a little bit more control than that. Like she goes over the top, but she's in complete control. And
I think she's going to use her dark magic more in the world that she shouldn't, and I think that's what she's going to do here because she feels like that I think she feels like she's already a failure. She's not living up to like the standard of Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
We do have a question from the bronze page. Do you all miss Doctor Strange? No,
he's been gone long enough.
Exactly. He hasn't been gone long enough. All he is referenced everywhere. And we saw the 70s version of him when he died. So no, I don't miss Doctor Strange.
I mean, we're about to see a movie with him too. So.
And we're gonna see a movie, which I got my tickets for.
I'm letting you guys know this now, not tomorrow, but next week. He has his own miniseries coming out.
Oh my God, he's a miniseries
of course he does.
too. So there you go.
You can't come out. You honestly can't come out with a Doctor Strange movie with no Doctor Strange. So
they can't let you miss him. So no.
Right. So he has his own miniseries.
Then don't
so he's never really gone, right?
And by the end of this, he's going to be alive again too, because they got to sell more comics and sell more movie tickets. So.
So, but I like this.
But we can't have a Scarlet Witch book though, even though she's gonna be in that.
No, of course, no.
Yeah, but I like this.
Had a hit TV show, you know.
I love the way she looks. I love the artwork in the book. I love the action in the book. I think it's cool, man, and I'm curious. I just want to see this journey. You know, that's all.
Look, I'm gonna buy issue 3 just for you, Mike. But I didn't like this issue.
I did like this issue, and I will buy issue 3 too. But if issue 3 is more like issue 1, and then issue 4 is less, then I'm done.
I'm gonna keep going.
I'm hoping it goes up and up and up.
I just want to, dude. I love the part where the freaking chopped off Eric Masterson's hand. I thought that was so freaking cool, man. Really cool stuff. All right. Yeah, sometimes books like that, I try not to go too deep into them. So, all right, what's next? Where are we at?
Number 2.
We all did our number 2?
No.
No.
Oh, I went first. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So Brant, you go.
Flashpoint Batman Knights of Vengeance, is that what it's called? Number
So
1.
I didn't buy that. I was like, I didn't realize that this kind of connected to the new Flashpoint thing. So
Yeah,
I didn't.
well, it does.
The last one.
I thought it was a
can
reprint.
No, wow, no. This was an origin story of Thomas Wayne in the Flashpoint universe. So it was.
This was a new story.
This was a new story. I'm pretty sure.
I did not know that.
So, like, you got the whole origin story of Martha becoming the Joker and how that broke their marriage and broke everything apart, and how he was hunting her down and all this stuff, and how it was like a long book, too. It was big. It was broken into chapters. It was so big, and you had, like, these blank pages in between it. But he was, like, Joker had kidnapped a couple of kids. I think it was Harvey Dent's kids. And he was trying to get them back, and James Gordon accidentally kills one of them because she had set him up on a chair to look like her. And so that's how it kind of breaks, and that's where he had to kind of take care of Martha at that point. So that's kind of what broke him completely. But that's kind of what set the stage for Flashpoint, the new Flashpoint, I think, because he's talking to her like, what if I could change this and create a whole other world where we die but Bruce lives? So it's kind of rewriting history and saying that he was responsible for Flashpoint. So that's what this story was. But I thought it was pretty good.
Reprint.
Yeah, supposedly it was a reprint, but
was it? Well, I never read it then.
I honestly, it seems like it would be very important though for today's/tomorrow's story. So I'll be excited.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that I didn't spoil it for everybody that read the original. I never read this. I don't know why. I thought I read all of Flashpoint.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty cool. All right. And Kat?
Mine was Devil's Reign, actually.
All right. Very good. All right. So we're going to jump in.
We're going to
number one. Let's dump.
Yeah. My number one was She-Hulk.
Nice.
And Kat, what was yours?
Mine was Firepower.
Brant?
Mine was Devil's Reign.
All right. Sweet. So that's our comics of the week. So let's dive into the news now, shall we, Kat?
Yes. Before we go into the news, I do have a Kickstarter, so I'm gonna do a little screen share of that. We just launched Monday. It's a little bit of a shorter Kickstarter than we normally do. We axed off a week because we have another Kickstarter launching a week after that. So we're trying to get as much as we can in before Buy Visibility Volume 2. But we have Slice of Life issue 1 through 2. It's a queer romance anime book. It's actually a webtoon that you can read on there as well. It's about an anime character that comes to life and falls in love with a high school cheerleader. If you enjoy character stories, I think you're going to really enjoy this. But also if you just enjoy anime, we really delve into some stereotypes and tropes there and try to really talk about what is real life and what do people actually go through. And that is the book, and we're really proud of it. So hopefully you guys could go support that.
Awesome.
I'll have a link in the comments below. Yeah, sure.
Hey guys, if you could only see
that's easy.
one of these movies, would you watch the new Spidey movie or the new Batman
Spider-Man.
movie? That's
Spider-Man.
easy. Yeah, Spider-Man.
You're
no question.
Wrong crowd there. We also have Tavia. What happened to Life Follow Daughter? It's still happening. Issue 8 is been done for a while actually. But we had to fulfill the crossover, which we're doing now. But then also we just have so many projects. It just can't come out as frequently as I'd like to. We have to finish up The Dancer, which has also been done for a really long time. So it's still coming out and still a very big part of the lineup. But we're releasing it as we can. But issue 8 is done, and that Kickstarter will be in 2022. Probably by the September area. So look forward to that.
All right. No, kick it away, Kat, with that news.
Yes. So we are up to the news here, and we do have one media piece. Locke and Key is ending with season 3.
I'm so sad.
I still haven't watched the end of season 1 and season 2.
I love Locke and Key. I am current. I'm up to date with it, and I was sad by this. I was hoping we would get at least a couple more seasons. In that article it says that they felt like 3 seasons was the perfect amount. I disagree. I think you needed more, but they did combine a lot of the storylines in the books into those first 2 seasons. So I kind of understand it. At the same time, I'm just sad to see it go. It took so long to get this thing up somewhere, right? Like it had so many false starts, and now we finally got it, and it seems like it's here and gone in a very fast fashion. So
no, that's the issue with, obviously, like with Netflix and a season coming out all at once, because as soon as the season comes out, you binge it, it's over, and then you don't hear about it for the next time it comes out, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why, at least, and we've talked about it before, but that's why, like, releases with Disney Plus, these shows got room to breathe, and you have time to discuss and enjoy, like Moon Knight right now,
Do you feel like a lot of people are discussing it, though?
What's that?
Do you feel like a lot of people are talking about Moon Knight? Because I feel like that one's been, like, I don't think as talked about as some of the other shows.
It's a little polarizing too. Lisa told me she read one comment that said, "Well, this is the show that made me quit Marvel," and I'm like, "What?
Wow,
it's a little drastic."
I haven't seen it just because there's so many new shows coming out that I'm more interested in, and because of the polarizing opinions. Also, I don't care about Moon Knight as a character.
I have seen it. I really like it.
I like it.
I really like it.
It's different. It's you don't, because he's not your standard superhero, right? He's got issues, man. And I find it something. It's a little different.
It is. I mean, the stuff you've seen in the trailer about him, like, being British and then realizing there's something else going on. That's the whole first episode is that, and him dealing with that and kind of waking up in strange places and all that stuff. And then second episode, they go full into the action aspect of it, and you get both versions of Moon Knight. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but I think it's a pretty solid start. It may not be your thing, though, Kat. Right. I don't know.
I think one day I'll sit down and watch it. I've watched at least all one of the pilots of the Disney shows, so I think I'll watch it at some point. But yeah, it's not the thing that's on my to-do list. What is the next one after this? Is it Shield? It's Miss Marvel.
Is it
Shield?
Miss Marvel.
Yeah, so like I'm like a little more excited for that.
Yeah, I think it's after Miss Marvel.
I thought it was before. I'm not sure. Oh, I guess that makes sense because Miss Marvel actually had a full trailer. Shield hasn't yet.
Yeah. Someone asked, I think it was AJ Carey, asked if the show is as good as the comics. No, it's the comics are like, I don't know, it's like once in a lifetime kind of comic, right? It's that comic is so good. They tried really hard. I think aspects of it are really good. They touch on everything in the comics, but it's a little bit more condensed and rushed than the comics are able to spread it out. So, like I said, you cover a lot of ground in that first season, and it doesn't quite hit as hard as the comics. I don't think it's quite as dark until towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's still good.
Comics, man, are freaking awesome.
Yeah,
it's like one of my favorite all-time horror books that I have ever read. I mean, I read a book and I didn't read it till much later, and I literally read not volume after volume after volume after volume until it ended, and I loved everything about it.
Yeah, same. Absolutely love it. And I'm not typically like a horror fan, so
yeah,
I mean that tells you something.
Yeah, for you to like something like that is pretty means something.
Yeah.
So let's get into some comic news here. Let's talk about the Out Avengers title coming out. I wanted to talk about this because I want a good Avengers title, and this just seems like that what that Spider-Man, nonstop Spider-Man, the ones where like this is an action book just because it's an action book, and like, do these sell well? Like they've done this so many times, and I don't get it. I don't get why we're getting it.
Listen. Nothing can be any worse than what we're getting from the Avengers currently. So just that you get, I think, was it Kieran Gillen? Is he writing it? I don't even remember.
Jason Aaron.
No, that's
Jason Aaron.
That's the other
new one that's coming out.
Oh,
the one we're talking about.
Let me look.
All Out is Derek Landy and Greg Land.
That's what it was, Landy. Greg Land, I can deal with that artwork. The last thing that I remember him doing was that, was it the
X-Force, I think.
He did an X-Men book. I feel like
with Dazzler.
Yeah.
Was it Dazzler?
that one?
It wasn't X-Force?
No, I don't think so. I thought it was like an Immortal X-Men or something, or Astounding X-Men. Something.
Oh, yeah, Astonishing X-Men.
Yeah.
Astonishing X-Men.
That book was good, and his artwork was really nice. I mean, his artwork is his artwork, but for some reason that his artwork fit that book, and I love that, that book. But I think maybe this one could be good. It looks like it's got She-Hulk on the cover, has Spider-Man on there. Like, again, it can't be any worse than what we're getting right now. There's got to be a good Avengers book that's coming out, man.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm not excited about this one though. Yeah.
You'll have to let me know how it is then.
I will. I will let you know. For sure.
And you'll have to let Brant know too, because I thought you said I am excited for this. I'm like, you're
No.
excited for this?
I'm not excited.
Only Mike is.
I am, because I want an Avengers book that I freaking enjoy.
Well, I do too, but I don't think this is going to be it.
Some people are saying, though, I have to read it still. I wound up getting all 4 issues of Avengers Forever, and people are saying that that's actually a really good book, and I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, keep us updated on it.
That's the one with the Deathlocks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have read it.
Have you?
Yeah, it's okay. It's not. I don't know. I won't say anything. I want to go in cold and see what you feel.
Like, they go into different universes and stuff, right? So
yeah, it's multiverse is definitely at play in that.
Gotcha.
Because multiverse stuff is happening in MCU. So of course in the comics that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the next topic, which let's talk about that Marvel crossover event in July. It is called Judgment Day, I believe. Let's see what it's exactly called. Judgment Day Towers. Oh no, okay, so it's just Judgment Day. It's I think we already knew about this event, but I guess now it finally has a name. Avengers, X-Men, Eternals. They're all crossing over, and you know what? I'm not thinking.
You want to screenshot it? Cat, screenshot it, because there's quite a few books there.
Sure. All right, so this has been announced before. I believe it's for their free comic book day. So this is the main cover. Don't care about that. This is a tie-in. Don't care about that.
Yeah, it's crossing into like all the X books and X-Men Red.
Yeah, X-Men Red. Death of.
And then they're still dealing with the Eternals, even though the movie, was a little polarizing.
I like the movie, by the way. I think I can't remember if I told you guys that.
Yeah, you did.
No, you didn't. Okay. Oh, maybe you did.
Maybe it was just the when you and I were on mic.
So that's it, right? So May you get the free comic book day. Then June you got Eve of Judgment. And then July Judgment Day 1, 2.
Nice that it's short.
It's not that bad. I'm in. I'm buying it. I'm going.
I'm getting
I'll get that free. I'll get that free book.
No, I'm going all in. And you know what? Well, I'm going to talk about it now. I'm hoping that the Eternals smash the shit out of freaking Krakoa, destroy those 5 people. I think they did mention that when it comes to this resurrection process, it's going to be interfered with based off of this event. I think it mentioned it in the article.
It has to be. They can't do that forever. They know it had a life on it when they came up with it, surely. But I think this is. I mean, we've talked about this before when they announced the free comic book day thing, like Kat said. But I think it's interesting that the Eternals just want to wipe out the mutants, and maybe something in this event happens to do exactly that, where they can't resurrect anymore.
I think the biggest issue about this event for me personally is that obviously we all don't read the Eternals, but I don't think the Avengers has been great, and I don't think the X-Men has been great. So why would I be invested in this event?
I understand that, but I'm still reading most of the X books that are tied in. Like I'm reading Immortal and X-Men Red.
But I don't think you're going to have to really understand those books to understand what happened in this event.
True, but I've read enough of Avengers to know like the Celestials, and I know enough about the Eternals to get it. So I think I'll be okay with it.
And we just know, just in general, that Kat is not an event person.
No, exactly. Exactly. So that's a whole nother reason not to pick it up. I'll stick to my Shadow War. Supreme Omega mentions that their favorite Avengers run was Busiek and not Hickman. And I guess that goes to my question of what was your favorite Avengers run? I actually surprisingly will say I think it's Bendis.
You gotta go back
Bendis
to
for me.
Like
honestly.
I can tell you guys that I never read Avengers Disassembled.
Oh really? Yeah. No, it's
really?
good.
Wow.
It's like some
it's
of Bendis's
good. Yeah.
best
Because
stuff.
it was back in that time period where I was just getting back into comic books.
Mm-hmm.
So I never jumped on to Avengers. I think like I read a few issues here and there of it. Then I read like Secret Avengers, which I thought was really good. But yeah, I wasn't into the whole disassembled thing. So I think I have to go back and try to pick it up somewhere down the line, maybe pick up a trade or omnibus or something of it, you know?
I think you should, because it's like this whole shift of the entire Marvel universe at that point, right? And so many things happen out of that, that's where we got Civil War and Dark Reign and all that stuff stemmed from that point. So
Right. So I couldn't tell you the last time I read a good Avengers run, to tell you the truth.
I really think it was Bendis's like his New Avengers. That was, and prior to that, I couldn't even tell you.
No, me either. And we're talking Avengers. We're not talking about sub Avengers like Young Avengers or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Like I think, I know it's not like a popular story. You can get like the issues for like $1, but there was a crossover called Galactic Storm, I think, back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah, I think I had random issues of it, but I don't think I had the whole thing.
Right,
it like, always was like all over the place. It was like in Quasar and just some random books. You know?
Quasar, West Coast Avengers, a couple other ones. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Oh, West Coast Avengers is a great book too. That's the thing. The sub Avengers books are
the
great.
newer
West
one,
Coast. Avengers Academy. I know you enjoyed the Avengers Arena. Those are really good with the Avengers when they do stuff like that. Young Avengers, obviously, but the main Avengers title has always struggled. I feel it needs like a Donny Cates. It needs something like that to reinvent.
Yeah, West Coast Avengers for me was something I always enjoyed. The 80s book or whatever it was, and I have quite.
But even the Kelly Thompson was great too.
Yeah, I thought I had fun. Like, listen, it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I had fun with it. I thought it was different. It was. I love how the characters are trying to form a team, and again, it was another one of those titles that just ended. It just it didn't last.
Yeah.
Oh, which is definitely a shame. I remember ending it well. It didn't feel like, they didn't know their last issue was coming. I think when you're always kind of below the line but close enough to continue, you kind of feel like always are trying to make your last issue there. And I feel like that's why West Coast Avengers succeeded maybe more than a Black Widow's ending, where I don't think many of us saw that coming, that Black Widow's ending, because again, it just had such good buzz.
Man,
I don't know what the sales were, but
I found out by someone texting me, or not texting me, like messaging me on the comments, and they said, I think when I did my top 10 comic book covers of the week last week, and Black Widow came up, and it actually won this particular week, which I was excited about. And they said, yeah, by the way, did you know that Black Widow was ending? And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, how can you end it after such a cliffhanger like that,
Yeah. It was the same thing with Spider-Woman. You told us like the day before it came out or something. It's like canceled. Like, what?
Yep.
And no one announced that one. And no one even, I guess no one noticed in the solicits that it wasn't being, like, usually there's someone who says something like that.
Originally, it was like you saw that cover, but it never said final issue on it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think it was the same thing. I wound up getting a message to me saying that was ending also. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, really? So
it's crazy. All right, well, let's get into Batman getting a new logo. I will screen share this. So if you guys don't notice, this is very similar to the Batman movie logo. So they are changing it to that, which I don't really like. I think it's too red.
It's too red.
It's too red, man.
What's really different about it?
Yeah,
It's
I
just
don't know.
Is it more like?
I think it's more like the design, the way it goes up like that is kind of representative of a bat, and like the cutouts in the M almost look like his ears, so it's almost like he's imposed onto the logo, which is kind of cool.
It kind of always looked like that before. Am I wrong?
I thought I don't know.
It's just a different color, I think.
Is it just a different color, really?
I really think so. I'm looking to see. Oh no, they don't have it in this.
So look, I mean, it kind of
matter.
It looks the same. See,
man, I want to see what it looks
there's
like.
The ears right there.
Yeah, you're right. It's only slightly different.
Let me see yours. It's the color. It's red, and now that's white.
So is it not it? Like the main color is going to be red,
and they put the shadow of Batman, like his silhouette is in the logo on the red one too. It's like, yeah, it's very close.
No, yeah.
It's almost identical to what was on it already. I don't get that.
I'm telling you, they're just making it similar for the movie for people that like the movie. You're like, oh, Batman, which I guess is smart because like people.
I think it's just I think it's just that shadow that they added mainly.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
So that's the Batman logo.
That was a non-story for you,
right? That's a non-story. Let's go to some more DC news. So DC Comics is continuing its webtoon stuff because Batman did really well for them, and they have a Zatanna story, a Red Hood story, and a Vixen story. And the reason I wanted to talk about this, it's webtoon, and obviously I like webtoon, and go check out my Kickstarter for Slice of Life. But also, no, the reason I honestly want to talk about this is like we keep talking about this with Marvel, like characters like Spider-Gwen or Runaways would do so much better on a different platform or like as a graphic novel or geared to somebody that's not just a standard Wednesday warrior. And I think DC kind of took that on. Like, they tried a Red Hood book for so long and it was always like in the bottom, and it's like, oh, maybe webtoon would work better, or a Vixen book, like something that might not sell as well as a mainstream book they're doing on webtoon. And same thing for Zatanna. I just thought it was a really cool move to get a different audience.
Yeah,
I right characters.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think these are great characters to take to that platform, and that Wayne Family Adventures comic. I mean,
it did well.
It goes live like at midnight Wednesday night, like Thursday morning, and every time it hits, I'm like reading it immediately.
I just read the Batgirl one. It's so much fun.
It's just it's one of those I can't wait to read. It's just so fun. It's the right tone, and sometimes it doesn't have to take itself too seriously. It can do something different because it is on a different platform and it's not part of the main continuity, but it still references a lot of the continuity, which is cool. So if they can duplicate that with all these other characters, I think Marvel could definitely learn from that for sure.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And to explore all these different characters, I think they're just going to get even more of an audience with having all these other characters out there. So I think it's nothing but a good thing, obviously, and it reaches to a different audience.
Right.
And let's look at how many readers are on this Batman.
Oh my goodness.
I'm really
so
curious
many.
How many subs there are. There's 34 million views and almost 1 million subs. That is already more people are reading the webtoon for Batman than are buying the Batman.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, and it's free, right? So
the way they make money is that if people are really excited, that you get coins and you could purchase episodes in advance.
Right.
So early release for
at the end of the episode it would be like read the next episode for so many whatever.
Right.
Or there's like ads and stuff too, so you get some ad revenues. It's kind of like how YouTube works. So the webtoon people definitely make their money, but it's free for if you want it to be free, which is great too.
It shows you make. I mean, obviously it's free, but it shows you make the price right. People will check it out. You know what I'm saying?
The price is free,
and that goes, and people and that would go the same with real comic books. If you made them more affordable, people will likely try more titles, and I wish we could go back to that cheaper price, because
I wish we weren't in a recession, because things would be a lot easier.
I know we've talked about that before, but it's like the same thing with how Napster blew up, right? And they decided, hey, if we offer all this stuff for cheaper or free or like a Spotify kind of model, and people will get this, make your money a different way instead of selling $13, $20 CDs.
I think that's what the Substack is trying to do. I don't know if they're doing completely the right way, but that's exactly what that model is. It's just like you spend a little money, you get all this content.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see where the industry goes, honestly. Yeah. AJ says, and now Kat ends this section with, speaking of webtoons, you ever hear of Slice of Life? Hey, what also is true. Like, look, we do the Kickstarter stuff, and it's really, really good if you get like over 1,000 backers. Like, that's amazing on Kickstarter. But like for Slice of Life, we've been doing less than a year, and we're at 27,000 subscribers, just reading our books and getting thousands and thousands of views every week. And it's a different outlet, so, and a different way for people to read stuff.
Absolutely.
Moving on to Young Justice, the TV show is getting a comic book tie-in. They did the digital stuff when DC Universe first launched. I know most people will kill me by saying this, but I have not liked this current season of Young Justice. I didn't really like the last season either. Since it's gone to the streaming service, I just don't feel like it's been the same show for me personally. So I'll still get the comic just because I'm invested in the franchise, but I don't think it's been as strong.
I haven't finished the last season yet for the same reasons. It's just not doing for me what the previous ones did. But yeah, I'm sad to say I rarely get these tie-in comics, so I don't know that I will pick it up. But I do love Young Justice, as a concept. So who knows?
I also haven't read this. I mean, watched the show. But I think having Young Justice in a comic form, I think is cool. Now, if you haven't watched the show, though, and it ties into the show, then you're going to be lost, right?
I don't think you need to look it up. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need
I think it's very dedicated to the show. Again, hopefully it brings people to buy more comics for the people that just watch the show.
Most of them are. I know you read the Batwoman comic this week,
Kat. Man, I didn't like that.
I did not read it because I've never watched the show, but I know that there was like some kind of reference, like this takes place after season 2, episode 7, or some weird thing like that.
Away from it.
It was very not new reader friendly. I was like, so lost. I was like, what? And they're like, and they give you this little blurb like that, and they're like, and this person is Poison Ivy, and I'm like, I was very confused. And again, like I'm sure, and I hope that people that like the Batwoman show enjoyed the comic.
Sure.
I'm only going to pick up the Legends one. I think that is a lesson I have learned from picking up the first issues, that I really like Legends of Tomorrow. I'll pick that up. But also, which has been interesting, is that TV writers are writing the comic, which I think sometimes is great. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's a different medium. And I think it was on the latter end that you could tell this is their first comic they wrote. And I don't feel like they used the space as well as they could have. But it's still cool. I think it's great to get people to read comics, and
absolutely.
Any way you can do that is a cool thing.
Right.
All right. Well, let's get into the next thing here, which is Thor is getting his new origin, because Thor always needs a new origin story, with the BC story. And the reason I marked this down is this BC story has been looming on Marvel for like 4 years, and I just I don't care.
Can we get that with the Phoenix thing?
Yes,
that's what I thought.
That was the story.
This is what this is about, though. This is about Odin and Phoenix. So it's like, what don't we know? Is there more to the story? Why do we care now?
How much do you need to know?
Right.
Odin hooked up with Phoenix, and somehow they had a baby, and it's Thor. That's done. We're done.
Unless they're like, okay, that was dumb. We're going to retcon that already.
We're going to retcon that already. Yeah, exactly. Is this in the Thor book? I forget. Let me see. If it's in the... Let me see. Avengers 1000 BC to reveal... No, I think it's going to be in Avengers. Actually, it's its own book. It's Avengers.
It's like a one-shot or something, right?
1 million BC. Yeah, no, I'm going to skip that. That's not for me.
We screwed that story up so bad that we got to rewrite it all over again.
I just don't understand this. Like, this BC Avengers thing was like... I remember when it was first announced. And it was like this really cool thing. Yeah, and then it just like died, and it like disappeared for months.
Did you say really cool thing?
No, it was just like this. I said cool, but I meant they built it up as this really cool thing, is what I was trying to say. And like it was this big, this major thing, and then it just like died for like months, and it disappeared. And then when it did come back, it was like, okay, it's a backup story, and then it's like, what? Yeah. So
I remember it was like It was
Jason
looming
Aaron.
in Free Comic Book Day too. Like I remember they built it up there. It's gonna be the big event, and
right.
It was not. So interesting that they're still tackling it. But let's start talking about the last thing here. Our last news piece is John Kent is becoming like this Superman Robin character. He's literally dressed up as Robin. And it looks like, I think Tom King is writing this. Yeah, Tom King is writing it. Would you know, I haven't loved a Tom King story in a while, but I think this is an interesting concept because of, what they've been doing with John and his connection with Nightwing.
Dress up though. Why does he need to dress up as Robin?
They got to sell that comic. They gotta be like, we're doing something different.
That's worse than my Robin twin idea.
It's maybe on the same level. I'm gonna give it a shot, I think, because it's just like it's so out there that it might be amazing, or just like, whoa, that was really out there.
I mean, why? I guess I need to know why he's Robin. Is before I make a judgment.
Well, why it matters because this is Superman. Like, why does it matter that he's Robin?
I guess it's like if it's in honor to like if Batman exists or like if Robin died or something, and it's like tribute, it makes a little more sense. But if it's just like
in Robin's tribute, I'm going to dress up like him.
Yeah, but if it's just like,
will this be a Dick Grayson story or something?
Right. But if it's just like, hey, Dad, I want to be your sidekick. I'm going to dress up like a bird. It's like,
yeah, I don't want
okay,
that.
son, sure.
It's weird, man. I don't know where they're going with that one. So
I don't either.
But I hope we all read it.
I guess I'll try it.
So that was all the news. There was an interesting round of news this week, but we are going to go into the most anticipated for next week, which I think there's a good chunk of stuff coming out tomorrow. So
yeah, which funny enough, you and I our lists are almost identical again, Kat.
As always.
Yeah.
Even no matter if there's 20 books coming out, me and Brian are going to probably be anticipating the same thing.
I'm telling you, I literally changed my number 3 just so it wouldn't be identical. Again, I've done this is the second time I've done this.
So you actually were going to pick Elektra. I thought you just.
I was going to pick Elektra. No, I was going to pick Elektra, and I was like, okay, let me find something else. I can have one more book to talk about. But so let's start with you, Mike, because yours are different than ours.
Exactly. I don't copy everyone else's. No, I'm just kidding.
You do have one, I think, that was
the very first one you're going to talk about.
My number 3 was Flashpoint. I mean, what can you say? I'm definitely looking forward to it. I hope it is going to be a good story and that it's not some watered down version of what we had, So what can I say? I hope it's good. Then my number 2 is it's A Town Called Terror, issue 1. It's by Image Comics. It just seems like there's a murder that happened. I forgot the actual how it was described, but a lady tries to get help because she saw the murder happen and she can't get any help. No one believes her. So it looks like some kind of like murder mystery or something like that. And then, of course, Noctera, issue 9. I'm a huge fan of the series, especially after that cool cliffhanger with Blacktop Bill teaming up with Val and the rest of the team. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So yeah, those are my 3.
Nice. And Kat.
So my number 3 is Elektra. Right? My number 3 is Elektra. Because honestly, like I want to see what they do with this. Why are they having this random one shot? I like Elektra. Yeah. Most of the time she's got some solid stories. And also will it connect to Daredevil? So I'm interested in that. Number 2 is Naomi. I was not pleasantly surprised because I was already looking forward to Naomi issue 1, but I was a little scared after all the Young Justice stuff and Justice League. It's like, all right, what's this going to be about? But I really liked that first issue, and it was just everything I wanted from it. So I was excited for. John X, what's this the top 3 of? So for the books coming out tomorrow, are most anticipated for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. And then number 1's Flashpoint, just because it's a big event for DC. I think it has promise. Like I like Thomas Wayne as a character, so I'm hoping it lands. We have a question before we go into the next one. Hey, Kat, which comic company do you think will have the best summer of comic storylines? This could be for everybody. I've been really liking a lot of Image stuff lately.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to predict until you actually get to those stories. You know?
If we're going between Marvel and DC, I'm gonna lean towards Dark Crisis.
I'm not leaning towards Dark Crisis.
No,
but
between that and Judgment Day,
I'm looking.
I'd rather Dark Crisis than
I'm looking forward to
Dark
Crisis, but this could be something that's like future state. You know what
it
I'm
could
saying?
be. Yeah,
it could go into that realm. So I don't know. I'd rather put my money on Eternal X-Men Avengers.
Okay.
Stuff.
I don't think that's a good
fair
bet,
enough.
I do. I mean, at least when it comes for Marvel events, they may not be the best, but something comes out of them at the end of the day most of the time. Again, you had this Devil's Reign thing, and look at how that one ended up. And that ended up actually pretty good. You know,
the ending was good, but only because it's leading to a solo series. I feel like 3 teams that already are in a little shaky water. I don't know. I am a little bit more interested in Dark Crisis, but I also think it goes back to every year. I think Marvel has some great titles. I think DC has some good Batman titles. And that's where we're kind of landed right now. When it comes to events, I'm not an event girl, so I don't usually dictate if Marvel and DC are great companies with if their events are good or not.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, though, you liked Image, and Image always has great titles that are coming out. So, just have to see.
Yeah. So most anticipated, right?
Yeah. So my number 2 and 1 are the same as yours, so I won't waste time with that. But my number 3, I changed to Image number 1 simply because there's a.
You didn't want to pick Elektra.
No, well, that. But simply the reason I picked this book instead was because there's a shift story from the Radiant Black universe. So I want to learn more about that character, any characters in that world. So that's it. And that's our most anticipated. So,
all right. And that's it. And you want to talk about your Kickstarter one more time, Kat, before we head out?
So I am going to screen share one more time. Go check out my current Kickstarter. It is, if we were just talking about Webtoon, but go check out Slice of Life. It's about an anime character that comes to life and falls in love with a high school cheerleader. We really tackle character stories and what exactly it means to live life. So if you enjoy character work, I think you're going to really enjoy this book, and we're super proud of it. And it's only been live for 2 days, and we're almost 240 backers. Love to get to 240 before I go to bed. So hopefully one of you guys could be a wonderful backer. And also this weekend I'll be at Super Geek Fan Jersey something. It's Jersey Geek Fest. I'm going to be in Jersey for Comic-Con, and it's on Saturday. So hopefully you guys could join me for that. And then also, of course, tomorrow I'll have my best comics of the week review. So want my thoughts about comics early before the show, go check that out while they're all fresh in my mind.
Brent, you got anything going on?
Yeah, so I started a wrestling podcast this last week.
Damn.
And so the first episode is up. I don't have the URL pointing directly to it, so I have this really complicated URL there. But you can get to the YouTube channel via allpodcast.com, and the first episode will be up on that channel tomorrow. So check it out if you're a wrestling fan. I'm talking all about WrestleMania.
All right. And then for me, I got my comic book haul coming out tomorrow. Personally, I don't have that many books. I don't think I say not that many. I'm still getting like 13, I think. But
I think I'm getting around like 12 tomorrow.
I don't think there's a ton that like I'm really excited about. I think this week and next week, there's not that much. Because the 27th is going to be a huge week because of Spider-Man and everything else. So,
yeah, I'm excited for that.
Look for my haul, and then the next episode of After the Poll, where obviously I talk about my top 5 comics of the week and see what changes by the time we get to this show. My top 5 changed dramatically after my After the Poll episode. So, stay tuned for that stuff and a whole bunch more. getting close to Free Comic Book Day, so check out your shop to see.
Doing a signing up for Free Comic Book Day,
nice.
So that's gonna be
check
fun.
out your shop and see what offering they have at your shop. I'm actually going to be teaming up with my shop, Comic Central. We're going to be doing a pre-video and advertising what sale they'll have and all the books that they're going to have to offer. So I'll be doing a video on that, like I think a few days before new comic book day, Free Comic Book Day comes around. So great stuff, guys. Got all kinds of stuff coming out. So with that being said, if you guys want to find out all that stuff, make sure you subscribe to Comic Book Weekly and Comic Book Corner 2.0. If you want to check out all the episodes of Comic Book Weekly in one place and you have nothing else to do for like hours and hours and hours and watch every episode back to back to back, that's the place where you guys subscribe to. Like I said, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss when this show is going live. We talked about the thumbnails earlier. Maybe we'll put Comic Book Weekly on there so you know that a show is coming. And, of course, give these videos a like. That always helps. And follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, of course, YouTube. And with that being said, everyone, time to wave.
Bye, guys.
Happy Comic Book Day, and we'll see you next week.